Let me begin with you. Should the ultra-Orthodox be drafted into the Israeli army?
I don't think I can answer that question in a definitive, all-across-the-board way. It's a very complex issue. There are young men who study the religious texts day and night. This is their one pursuit. This is a real service to the Jewish people, and they should not be disturbed from that learning at all. And even those who aren't necessarily studying all day, they should have a few years to study, to be what we call the yeshiva, to build themselves up spiritually. But then at a certain point, I do believe that those who aren't studying day and night should either do army service or some kind of national service at a certain point and pave the way for them to enter into the workforce. So it's not a black and white issue, but I certainly would not say draft everyone, and we have to find each person their own place in their own time.
When you see that, perhaps practically speaking, some Haredi men, even if they go into the army, they might not want to serve alongside women. There might be a lot of practical issues to deal with here. Isn't it going to be more of a headache for the IDF? Why don't they just, leave it as things stand, leave it as is?
So first of all, I believe that the accommodations can be made and are being made. I've visited with ultra-Orthodox people on the highest level who are in the army at different levels of their lives, and the accommodations are made. And sometimes if something is violated and it wasn't dealt with properly, we have to deal with it. And it's part of the challenge of a Jewish state in 2017. But as we look back of 2,000 years of our history, as the deputy mayor mentioned, the 2,000 years of history were not people who sat and studied Torah day and night as their only pursuit. The greatest rabbis combined together their learning together with work, and we have our traditions all teach us that a father is obligated to teach a son a trade. We had armies that were filled with the most religious people. The challenge of our time is to make sure that those who are really studying Torah day and night, that exclusive elite group, that they should be taken care of, and they can do so, and that the rest not, God forbid, be dragged into an army which will hurt them spiritually, religiously, and not in any way to be going into study halls and arresting anybody, but to work together so that they're serving in the army if they choose to, in national service. There are many options out there in which they could serve the country. That will do a tremendous amount, first of all, for them as they begin to make their way into the workforce, where they combine being religious and studying and supporting their families with dignity. It'll also do a lot for healing and repairing the Jewish people in Israel, where we're dealing with this issue. And like I said before, this is a process. We are working through it. And for me, there's nothing great short of a blessing and a thrill to be part of that process. And as long as we respect one another along the way, I have no doubt they'll be able to reach that proper balance as time goes forward. This is all part of a process. It's part of a process which we may not see the end of. It's a few generations as we're trying to work out a Jewish and democratic state and trying to figure out the exact status of those who are studying the Torah, those who are not truly studying the Torah. And there will be a legislative battle. There might be further court battles. Who knows exactly what will be, but that's part of the democratic powers in Israel trying to determine what's best in this issue. And I'm thrilled that we don't live in a dictatorship of any kind where anybody's coming down and saying this is what must be, forcing the way on the people. The people themselves have to work this out, and that's what we're trying to do.